Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show here on YouTube and WKYC Plus. All right, Earl, you've got a theory, I guess, about Jimmy Haslam, right, and why he's singing a different tune on the Deshaun Watson front. Give us your theory.
Yeah, I got a theory on that. So everybody done heard it by now. You know, everybody done seen the tweet that Jimmy Haslam said Deshaun Watson can go from a swing and miss to a home run, and it just got me to thinking what Jimmy Haslam really meant when he said that. Take it, Steve.
I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
In a nutshell, that's what Jimmy Haslam really meant. Y'all go ahead and cook.
Like, he's been a waste. For all this time, I've been getting killed. We're going to give it one more shot here.
I gave him the largest guaranteed contract in the history of football.
Yeah.
I did everything possible to make sure Deshaun Watson was the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, and thus far, it's been a complete and utter disaster.
Yeah.
But he's still under contract. And as long as he's still under contract, I'm going to ring that towel for whatever I can get out of Deshaun. Will it work? We'll find out in the fall.
Yeah.
But Jimmy Haslam is going down swinging.
Well, we'll find out in the summer, maybe.
Well,
maybe it'll happen in the summer.
When they get back to playing football.
Go ahead.
I told y'all, listen, when they gave him that bag of money, I told everybody, rich folks don't be doing it like that. Like, Jimmy Haslam don't really got no problem with Deshaun Watson. He's like, man, I was swinging for the fences. It didn't work. And then they was like, all right, well, listen, Jimmy, we're not going to be able to get rid of him. We don't keep him because we want to do some things. We want to get the roster. All right, cool. Well, that's what's up, bro. Well, he might do something. We going to see. Ask Todd. Todd, it's a new coach.
Yeah.
And by the way, when you do get a new coach, right, your thought process is that when you get a new coach, that new coach is going to have a positive impact on your quarterbacks. You would assume that you got a guy in the room.
It doesn't always work that way.
It don't always work, but you're just being optimistic.
Hopefully.
You're hopeful. Yeah.
You're hopeful. And he's looking at it like this. Hey, push come to shove, I want him to be the best version of Deshaun Watson because the best version of Deshaun Watson is going to get the best version out of the other people in the room. I want the quarterback competition to actually be competition. So I hope he's out here balling.
I'll tell you something else. As crazy as it sounds, and again, the idea of us getting to this point is very unlikely, but I would not put it past Jimmy Haslam that if Deshaun Watson played this year and played decently, that he would sign him to a one-year deal.
Did you hear what Andrew Berry said?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Andrew
I don't know what you're talking about.
Andrew Berry was, in the same owners meeting, was asked specifically, is there a world where Deshaun Watson can get a contract extension? And he answered, there's a lot of stuff to go on.
Yeah.
But yes, we extend good football players. It is possible. So your point?
So, I'm not going to completely rule it out. Doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what we think. It doesn't matter what the fans think.
Let me throw
it's not impossible.
Let me throw it. I think that there's a big disconnect between the way Jimmy Haslam and the organization thinks about Deshaun Watson. I think a lot of what happened with Deshaun Watson, not only, there's a lot of things. He didn't play well, right? Okay. But there's also the fact that who he replaced. That's a big part of some of people's mind and the fans' mind why they don't really deal with him. Then you got to also take in consideration the allegations. A lot of people checked out immediately with the allegation. Then there's the injury history. So that's another part. And then there's the capital of it. There's how much you paid to get that guy to come here. Yeah. So when you wrap that up, there's 4 or 5 things that wrapped up in why people and the fans in the media just don't really deal with Deshaun Watson, don't want no parts of it. I think Jimmy Haslam looks at it as raw, cut, and easy. Like, it's business. We thought this guy was going to play a certain way. Sometimes things happen. He got hurt. And he got suspended when we didn't think he was going to get that many games. It kind of set him back. And we guaranteed him a contract because that was the only way to get us out of the mess. It didn't work. But if something happens where all of a sudden he plays better, it's business. I don't care. Like, I'm not looking at that.
It's not going to be other teams breaking down doors to sign him. There's no reason. We could come up with all the reasons why people don't want to see him, as you just did. Mm-hmm. There's no reason to not give him an opportunity.
He's here.
Because what's the downside? Yeah. I know a lot of people feel like, well, but even if he's good, he's gone. Well, not necessarily.
No.
Again, did Jimmy Haslam not say that they want to win?
Yes.
Is the idea not to win football games? Is it possible that Deshaun Watson gives them the best chance to win? It is possible. To say it's not is ridiculous.
And it's a new head coach, and it's a new system, and everyone's on even playing ground. And if Deshaun somehow plays to a level that where we are seriously sitting here sometime next offseason discussing whether or not the Browns should extend Deshaun Watson, guess what? It means it was a great season, and the Browns were able to accomplish something. If Deshaun plays to a level, and we can make up whatever
it might not be a lot of money. It probably wouldn't be a lot of money.
But even if we're talking about some sort of extension, that means he played at a level where Todd Monken says, we need him back. Like, I can win with this guy. Which means he must have done something in 2026 to give us that belief.
Yeah.
And if we have that belief, and if Todd Monken has that belief to where they're re-signing this guy, then we're sitting in this exact spot a year from now with a way more optimistic feel for the 2027 season than we would right now. And that means the Browns would win some games this year.
Yeah.
The offense would look better than it has the last couple of years. It means Todd Monken with some new philosophies all came in. And most importantly, whether he's the long-term 10-year answer or just a 1-year extension to re-up,
well, not 10-year answer, but 5-year answer.
He had done something to prove his worth to the organization.
We can all understand that I know there's a lot of people at home probably saying, what are you guys talking about? This is not going to happen. Yeah, the odds of this happening
is very, very
are
slim,
very small. But listen, desperate times call for desperate measures.
You hear now?
Deshaun Watson's the only quarterback on this team that has played good football in the NFL. And that's it.
And you know what the great part about this is? If Deshaun Watson, there's the opposite end of the coin. If Deshaun Watson comes out here and balls out, right? And Shedeur Sanders rises to the occasion and says Deshaun Watson had great camp, but Shedeur Sanders had a better camp. And he wins the job, you know what the Browns can say? They can look at everybody in their face.
Best man won.
And say, you saw Deshaun Watson come out here. He had a great camp. He stayed healthy. But Shedeur Sanders was special in camp this year. He won the job fair and square on the football field where it's supposed to be done. They then can look at every person and there won't be any detractors. And you know what they can actually say? They can come out and say, listen, Shedeur Sanders won the job. He is our quarterback for 2026. That is our starting quarterback. Yeah. He's the starter. It is, and then at that point, you can put it to bed. People can get behind it and understand. And you know why you could do that? Because the merits of what he did showed and proved. It ain't corporate America. It's what you did on the field. And this is a brand new slate. So I'm excited for it because now I get to not talk about narrative. I get to talk and go to these practices and see who really slinging that rock out there.
There's no reason for the coach to have a bias one way or the other. It doesn't make sense. His only goal should be to win football games this year.
If Dylan Gabriel come out here looking like
fine.
If he want to be the smaller version of Steve Young, what am I saying? He was cooking. I can't deny it. He was cooking.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, as much as none of us believe.
Well, we don't believe that's going to happen, but I mean,
whatever.
But it is what it is.
There's no reason it shouldn't be wide open for the best man to grab the job. So be it. So, by the way, that was an unfair graphic. Who put that up there?
We made that a couple weeks ago.
That is not fair right there. Come on. You're talking about a Hall of Fame type season versus a rookie on a crap team.
Did they single that one out? That's when that's his last regular season game where he started.
I'm gonna pull the curtain back a little bit.
All right.
Pull it back.
Mike is the lead producer. You know, what Mike puts in the rundown for us to make, we're told to make it. But Mike can tell you, if I see something that looks like it's a head scratcher, I'll ask Mike, why am I making this?
Yeah.
What angle do you have? Where are you going with this? Is that not facts?
Yeah, where are you going with them?
That's not what's going on with that.
We've made that graphic like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And it just sits until we re-clear everything. Everything just sits in there. I forgot we had that graphic. I'm going to be totally honest. I forgot we had that in the folder.
That was rough.
I think the topic we did was, what did Shedeur have to do, or what would he have to do in 2026 to match that level of Watson? So we put them side by side so you can see.
Stop it.
But
don't even. That's not fair.
Let me just tell you this.
That's a ridiculous.
Let me tell you this.
If the short as that,
the Dorkamp is not capable of playing at that level.
If he
I don't know at all. Certainly not in his first full season in the league. That's ridiculous. That's an all-time great season.
If he did that,
yeah, you know that ain't happening.
I remember.
They set it up.
No, I remember.
All right, wait.
I made that.
This is
pull it back up. Boxer with it. I remember now.
There's about six
No, no, no,
quarterbacks
no, no.
in the league that can have that kind of season.
We were showing that stats don't equal quarterback wins. I was showing Deshaun had 4 wins in that season,
Oh,
and
yeah,
Shador
yeah.
had 3 in 7
All right, that
starts
makes
in
a lot
season.
more sense.
That's what we're doing. High five,
there
high
you
five,
go.
that's what we're doing.
But
Yep,
I'm gonna
yep,
say,
yep,
listen.
yep.
Let me
Yep.
tell you this: the conundrum. Okay, if Shador had that season and they only won 4 games, is they drafting the quarterback?
No.
No.
But he's not having that season.
But
First of all,
If they get listen, if they win
there's
4
about
games,
5-6 quarterbacks in the league that are even capable of having a season
if
like
they
that.
win 4 games, and they get a top 5 draft pick,
Jeremiah
and get Jeremiah, and he
Jeremiah
put them
Smith.
numbers
but,
up,
Like, come on, guys. Let's live in reality here.
that
That ain't happening. First of all, if he did somehow have this great season, they'd win a lot of games because they have a good defense.
I mean, put them numbers back up. Let's
I mean, it was.
No way he's having that
If
season.
he-
There wasn't did any quarterback have 4,800 yards last year?
I don't think so.
4,800. That's crazy work. If you give
You told me
if he said 4,000 and 25 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. 25,
To me,
that's
that's
still
very unlikely.
crazy.
That's-
4,000,
yeah.
that's still
It'd
wild.
be a good season. It'd be a very good season.
no, I don't know if a single quarterback in the league is going to have that season this year, let alone a guy in his first full season as a starter.
Sometimes it's a
on
beautiful.
a bad team.
It's a beautiful thing to forget we made a graphic 3 weeks ago, 2
that
months
was right.
ago, and leads to something like this.
Like,
So,
that's
Matt
crazy.
Stafford threw for 4,707 yards.
To lead the league.
To lead
Right,
the
so
league.
nobody had that kind of season. That is not even a knock at Shador. There's like 5 quarterbacks capable of having that season right now.
And by the way, I'm not
many yards per game is
I'm
that?
not prognosticating it because, as y'all so eloquently put, I'll be in the chat still.
it's 300 yards per game. It literally averages out to 300 yards per game.
and
I'll
the Browns are not even going to play that.
I'll be in the chat. I said Deshaun Watson will throw for 4,500. So I'm not a stats guy. You know what I'm saying? But 300.
302 per game. That's,
Waving to Earl.
That's cooking.
You caught me waving to Earl. I couldn't hear you, Earl. All right. Taking you behind the scenes a little bit. We got to do it. Otherwise, we're like every other boring show out on TV.
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
different.
The fourth wall
We're
doesn't
unique.
exist.
We break the fourth wall. We knock right through it, baby. All right, coming up later, we'll get back to the Cavaliers. They play basketball, not baseball. And we'll talk about James Harden. But when we return, the American League Player of the Week. We're going to talk about him and a little true or false next on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.